What's up, Dorian? No intro music today, so let you guys go ahead and file on in. Because I got a lot I got to get off my chest before the end of the year. Eisen, you already know what this is. And if you don't mind, good sir, I'm just going to use you as a prime example of somebody who walks the walk and not just talk the talk. Okay, looks like we have a lot. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about this, so y'all better y'all better be in, buckle up, because we are definitely going to be talking about some things that it's going to get into people's feelings. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let's go ahead and rock with it. So, thanks for tuning in to the stream here by yours truly, Sigma Jones. First and foremost, just want to give a shout out to my subscribers. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate the love and support. Hope you guys are doing well during this holiday season, whatever is going on in your life. But it's some things that have been circulated that I have to get off my chest. So before I even get started, let me just go ahead and give some forewarnings. If you're the type that is easily triggered or easily provoked, you probably want to go ahead and exit out of the stream. If you're the type that believes in the so called manosphere and all that other shenanigans, exit the stream and actually do me a favor, go ahead and unsubscribe. If you're the type that feels, so to speak, you know everything and what I'm about to talk about and whatnot does not apply to you, by all means, keep listening in. But Sophia is about to get hurt because there's some things that I have been witnessing that lets me know that a lot of these guys ain't going to make it. Simply is not going to make it. Isaac, you already know. Dorian, you already know. This is something that a lot of folks just want to tip through the tulips and want to act like nothing's going wrong with a lot of these brothers, but it is a lot going on. Yes, Dorian, thank you. If you have a YouTube daddy, please leave the stream. Please leave. SKC, I actually need to give you a shout out because this is a branch off of your title, What the Sphere Doesn't Talk About. And in fact, if you would like, good sir, hopefully me and you can kind of boomerang on this topic. But in any case, let me go ahead and get started. So, shout out to JJ Wilson and SKC. These were the gentlemen that was talking to me about some incidents that were happening in the world of YouTube, particularly the black sector of YouTube. And they were the ones that pretty much inspired this stream. So JJ Wilson, while I was on vacation, he had a stream titled Black YouTube Never Cease to Amaze Me. Definitely go and check that out. And SKC, during that same time, also had a stream titled What the Sphere Won't Talk About. And this stream is pretty much an addendum to both of those streams and videos. And like I said, SKC, this could also be a boomerang for a discussion next year, because me and you talk about this a lot behind the scenes. But I'm just going to go ahead and pretty much it needs to be said. It just needs to be said. So what got all this started? So roughly maybe probably 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks ago, I was on vacation. And to be more precise, I was over in Oahu for the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Just enjoying myself. Pretty much was all focused on everything World War II stuff, but still going down to the beach, enjoying a good time. So, while I was on vacation, my bro JJ, he sent me this video. And it was actually a stream done by somebody from the Passport Bros. And just off the title of the stream, I could only shake my head. Because it was just pitiful. To make the long story short, the dude who was doing the stream pretty much had a red pill rage, if you want to call it. To where all of a sudden, he's no longer monogamous. And when he goes out into the world, he only wants to deal with pump and dump and everything. Even though beforehand, this dude was serious about monogamy and wanting to find the right girl and whatnot, yada, yada, yada. So I was just like, okay, let's listen to the details. So being a fly on the wall, I'm listening in. And I guess this guy ran into an Asian woman. And this dude was dead serious about this particular woman. To the point to where he was just bent on being in a relationship, yada, 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 all that stuff. But then this woman started to... she started, I guess, not showing the same interest in him. Telling him stuff about, well, how will people feel like if we're seen together in public? Eventually, she stopped returning his calls, his texts, and whatnot. And long story short, he comes to find out she has a boyfriend. And so he makes this stream. He's drunk and whatnot. And I guess this stream was just the final straw. So now he's on the verge of, hey, You gotta be red pill when traveling out and about. I'm only interested in women that doesn't want anything serious, yada yada yada, and so to speak, monogamy is dead. And I'm laughing and chuckling. I had to. And the reason I had to laugh and chuckle, because let's just be honest, a lot of these guys, so called red pill dudes on YouTube, they're not made to be in a serious family dynamic. Right, MOT? This is one of those streams. This is exactly one of those streams I'm talking about. A lot of these guys are not meant to be in a relationship. I'm just going to be honest. A lot of these guys are just not meant to have a serious girlfriend or wife with children, the whole family dynamic. And I say that because, one, you coming from an environment where you never had that experience of a family dynamic. Just keeping it honest. You've never had that experience. How can you possibly be preaching about the importance of family when you haven't seen a marriage that has been around for more than 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? List goes on and on. My parents now been married going on 37 years. So I think in my case, I know exactly what I need to do to find the right type of woman to be the wife and mother of my family. Because see, a lot of these guys, especially when you had topics probably within the past month or so where they talking about the whores are winning. Here's the thing that gets me. Why, if you're supposed to be your own man and you're supposed to be doing your own thing, why are you so concerned if whores are winning? But see, that's when I kind of realized. That's when I finally understood. These type of guys are not interested in families. They're not interested in actually starting a family on their own. Especially with women who want the same thing they want. No. All they want to do is just get online and complain about a group of women. I mean, what? I just see the title this past weekend. Not this weekend, but just the other weekend. One of these dudes had a title, "Why is it that black women act feminist towards us, but act feminine towards other men?" Exactly, Eisen. And my thing is this. If you know she didn't want to be seen out in public with you, why are you losing your mind over a female? Yeah, Dorian. Yeah. Yeah. It would surprise me what these guys do behind the scene. And this is why when I create these streams, the thing that I try to emphasize the most, live your life. Stop trying to live your life on YouTube. Stop trying to live vicariously through other people on YouTube. Go out and live your life. If you sitting up here and okay, I have to talk about this. I really do. Here's my thing. Okay, I get it. If you have tried to deal with women in your area and for some reason just miraculously all the women in your area simply do not want to deal with you or simply they don't want the same thing you want. Okay, I'm going to entertain that. So, we give some advice. We say, okay, brother, maybe you want to travel over to this area. From my understanding, the women over here, based on your circumstances, they want the same things you want and everything. Why not, take a breather and travel a little bit to see other dynamics? I noticed with a lot of these brothers, two things happen. Either, number one, they're too lazy and I'm just going to call it like it is, too stupid to actually make the right moves and make the right choices to actually go and deal with individuals who want the same thing they want. Or they go to these other places, but somehow, some way, they still get caught up in the same dysfunction that they just left from. I mean, how do you explain that? How can you possibly explain you go to another area, supposedly an area that's a little bit better, and you still somehow drama and dysfunction still finds you? At that point in time, it has to be called. The problem is not the women. It's you. What's good, Coolin? And Shinobi Bro, good to see you, sir. But yeah, the problem is you. If you're telling me all the women that you deal with are just whores and sluts, they don't want families, they don't want children, they just want to be Instagram models and take photos and make money and everything. Bro, the only thing all these women have in common is they have dealt with you. Which tells me you need to figure out what are you doing that is attracting all these dysfunctional women into your life. Because my philosophy when it comes down to those dynamics, you are what you attract, and what you don't attract, you're not. It is just simply mind-boggling how dudes can spend years, decades on a platform talking about the dysfunctions of a particular society or just main society overall, but yet throughout all those years, throughout all those decades, they have done nothing for themselves. Yeah, MOT. That's pretty much it. And that's what I've come to realize. Like, here's the thing. I don't know if anybody have told these dudes or these knuckleheads, but I'm just going to let them know. The good girls, the ones who actually want to be wives and girlfriends, the ones that actually have a brain and are willing to deal with a competent black man, here's a little secret. You're not going to find them on YouTube. Also, you're not going to find them in a club. Also, these type of women are the ones that, sure, They may not be the prettiest of them all. They may not have a lot of the looks. But if you go on Instagram and a woman constantly have pictures of her selfies or her big butt, guess what? I don't think she's meant to be a wife. I don't think she's meant to be a girlfriend. And even if she decides one day she wants to do that, guess what? It's not going to be with you. Because, see, the problem that I see in this sphere is how can you possibly talk about families when a lot of these guys come from failed, dysfunctional families? How can you possibly tell a guy like me who comes from a two-parent household, who actually have uncles who have been married to just one woman 30 years, 40 years, still going strong? How can you possibly tell me that marriage is impossible or monogamy is impossible when you simply did not come from the same background I come from? Now, let me give you a perfect example. My boy Aizen Sama. This dude from day one has been consistent with his message. The marriage life is not for him. It's simply not. And he is content with that. You want to know why I know he's content with that? He doesn't make YouTubes every single day talking about the dysfunctions of failed relationships. This man has topics that actually will make a person think and look at other philosophies. But he's not wasting his time talking about, well, why do these females like these type of guys? Or how come these females don't want to get with guys like this or that and everything? I mean, just straight up bullcrap. A guy like Aizen, who knows what he wants in life and has self-mastery, you're not going to see him make videos like this. You're not going to see him make streams going in circles, resetting topics over and over and over and over. Exactly. Exactly. Most of these guys, the so-called YouTube daddies, they created these failed families. In fact, I'm going to give you a prime example. Well, he's not really a prime example, but he's definitely an example of you need to live your life outside of YouTube. For those who are not familiar with the name David Carroll, you can say, wow, this guy had been on YouTube definitely for a good decade. I first saw him back in 2011. And yes, this guy, at best, his videos were comical. Definitely anybody would get a good laugh out of his rabbit hole productions. Well, for those who don't know, I want to say 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, he stopped making videos. Just hadn't been making videos, whatnot. And then eventually, I think on Monday this week, his sister came on Facebook and announced that he passed away sometime last Wednesday, the 15th. And, you know, it's unfortunate. And the guy Like I said, his videos were definitely something if you want to get a good laugh. But it has to be said. It has to be said. You shouldn't take his videos seriously. Now, I know some people are going to get upset with that. I don't care. I'm just saying what has to be said. You shouldn't take those videos seriously. They were comical. They definitely was something that will make you think on certain topics, especially some things that from a eugenist side I have to agree with. But for the most part, it was definitely something that in the end it was kind of sad. And the reason I say that is because he was creating videos, from my knowledge, since all the way back in 2011. It's now a full decade. And when you look at his video footprint, that was all of his topics. Now, I get it. I get it. Excuse me. I get it if you were making major money on YouTube. Okay. You found your niche. You're making a good profit off of it. Go and run with it. But it came out at the same time this week that this dude now has a GoFundMe. Yes, his sister set up a GoFundMe page to help pay for his either funeral arrangements or his burial. And that just highlights something that is so sad. It highlights, number one, it just proved once again that a lot of black men in America don't have insurance. Actually, you could say a lot of black people overall just don't have insurance. But black men in general, I think I have to look back on the study and all, but I think they say at best only between 30 and 35% of black men in America have insurance. So that kind of showed me right then and there that this whole time you did not have much going on outside of YouTube. And what makes it even worse, what makes this even worse, David Carroll was college educated. And that shows right then and there. And me and Logic Finest talk about this a lot. But this is a prime example when I say, just because you have a degree, just because you have a degree does not mean you're intelligent. And again, this is one of the reasons why I know for a fact a lot of black men here in America are simply not going to make it. They're simply not. If you can't figure out what you want to do with your life, and you are not putting and executing plans in place to better your circumstances, at this point, nothing can help you. A person can give you all the advice on YouTube. A person can show you the roadmaps. And I'm not talking about self-improvement. That's a topic that has been run to the ground. I don't know how much. But if you cannot bring it upon yourself If you can't bring it upon yourself to actually go out and live your life, turn the phone off, turn the computer off, go outside your door, and live your life. If you can't do that, no amount of advice in the world is going to save you. And furthermore, and this has to be said too, this has to be said. A lot of black men have very poor social skills. Color folks in general, but especially amongst black men, both young and old, their social skills are horrible. Just straight up horrible. How can you possibly talk about wanting to build, wanting to, so to speak, create an empire, wanting to do all these networking and whatnot, but you can't even socialize with people from other cultures? You can't even connect with individuals who don't share the same phenotype as you do. Yes, SKC, I'm going there. I'm going there. You can't even share the same, you can't even connect with individuals. All you know about other cultures and other people from other societies is based off of YouTube, is based off of what mama and them told you, is based off of what the black church or whatever told you. That's your experience. I'm willing to bet very few of you guys actually run into other cultures for longer periods of time. I'm not just talking about, oh, you met a random white person while you was out and about. Oh, you met a random Asian person, Indian person, Latina, yada, yada, yada. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you actually go into these communities and you socialize with them. You get to know them. You get to experience what they have to offer. And you can know for a fact, you know what? Maybe I'm looking at life a little differently. Maybe I need to go about things differently from a social standpoint, from a business standpoint, from an educational standpoint. Maybe there's a lot that I can learn. But no, these dudes' social skills have been so destroyed and so rectified. I'm just going to be honest. If you have not been taught how to socialize with other groups of people and other cultures by the time you are 20, you're done. You're done. If you don't know how to conduct yourself to where you can show individuals that you're not part of a dysfunctional background and that you are intelligent enough to move about and learn from other cultures and take what you learn from them to be able to better your circumstances, you're done. You're done. And to kind of get a little bit back on topic, now there's this talk in the so-called sphere, and especially I'm seeing amongst the so-called passport bros, where now it's to talk about Team Latina versus Team Asian, or Team Latina versus Team White. If you do not know how to live life outside of YouTube, no amount of debates, no amount of talking on a platform is going to solve your problems. I was listening to a video where a brother was talking about how, you know, Team Latina is actually better for black men because black men are visual individuals. We look at the body types and everything. And because Latinas have that natural big butt and everything, we're just going to automatically gravitate towards them. Well, first off, you're doing exactly what you're saying the other women say about you. And that you're putting black men in a box. You're saying that all black men simply cannot deal with women who may actually push you to be better, may actually push you to stop living in your mom's basement or stop living with your parent and actually go out and do things and actually go out and make something of yourself. Let's just keep it real. Yeah, so provider, just like you said, if you go into STEM, you have to be open to other groups of people. Facts. Facts. In fact, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go even a step further. Whether if you have any interest in going into IT, STEM, anything that requires a lot of groupthink, being able to work in groups and everything, if you don't have good social skills, you might as well just write it off. Just completely write it off. But again, a lot of these guys have come from backgrounds where they have been screwed up. Yeah, so I asked the same thing. I asked the same thing. And again, a lot of these guys, they are so bent on being that outcast. They're so bent on being that guy who wants to be the rogue of society. It's to the point now. It's like you know what? If that's something that, again, you have to really, I don't know. It's just amazing. Yeah, so in fact, you're more likely to be the only black dude on your team in IT. Most likely, you may get lucky and have another brother in the same team. I know for a fact that's correct because I run my own team in IT. And I can tell you right now, not only am I the only black dude, far as like my team and under my manager, I'm also the only black person. Shinobi bro, the sad part is typically that competent brother is going to be the only ADOS FBI on the team. Being able to get things done across culture is essential. Exactly. If you don't know how to deal with other people that come from different backgrounds, that's far different from yours, that's far more sophisticated and complex as yours, hey, good luck trying to move up that ladder in society. I'm in the artificial intelligence group, so everything that's with the chatbot, I pretty much handle all of that with my team. SKC is confused? That's a rarity. What is this team versus competition talk? What is the competition for? Families or short term sex? SKC, your guess is as good as mine. You got dudes in the sphere that want to talk about the importance of family, the importance of generational wealth and everything, the importance of you won't be able to make headway in society unless you have a family. But yet, it's still, you look at the type of women that they deal with, you look at the type of women that they argue and debate and who they gravitate towards. And it's like, you guys are not serious about family. You guys are not serious about wanting to build your family from scratch and be able to give your kids an advantage in the next generation or generations to come. You're not about that life. And it needs to be said, a lot of these men are simply going to die alone. In fact, if you wanna keep it even more realistic, if you look in history, human history at that, anthropology, only 20% of men were able to pass on their genetics throughout human history. So I don't know why a lot of these guys are even contemplating about talking about families when they just don't have that capability to do it. They just don't. Because I tell you right now, if you really want to have a family, you're not going to do it through YouTube. You want to get off your butt. You're going to turn off the computer, turn off the smartphone, and go about your business throughout society. Yeah, Isaac, say it with me. My dad, I'll tell anybody. My dad probably made one of the smartest moves for his family. As soon as he got married, he took his wife, him and himself, and he moved out here to Phoenix. And me and my brother growing up a little bit in Phoenix and a little bit in California, we've been around nothing but other cultures. And I'm talking the Latino culture. I'm talking the Caucasian culture, even a little bit of Asian culture. So there was nothing about we needing to be around skin folk or people that look like us. We grew from a young age that, hey, if you want to get good at society, you got to be able to deal with people that don't look like you. Abdullah, that's anthropology. Any anthropologist will tell you that throughout human history overall, maybe 25%, but very few men were able to pass on their genetics. And that was because of wars, that was because of diseases, that was because of men on average having shorter lifespans than women. That's anthropology. Yeah, just like what Shinobi Bro just said. A lot of genetic studies on that. Anthropology and genetic studies pretty much shows that very few men were able to pass on their genetics throughout human history. And so again, this is something to where I know for myself, I cannot I simply cannot connect with individuals that unfortunately they don't come from that same background. You either want it or you don't. Right. Like Dr. Vita says, it's called statistical genetics. Right. Math, another area black men fail in. I'll tell anybody. Hold on a second. So, I'll tell anybody when only 20% of black Americans, even if they go off to college, when 20% of black Americans graduate with a STEM degree, that lets you know it's over. It's done. When you have a generation of black men, and shalom to you, Lawrence. Good to see you, sir. When you have a generation of black men who, I don't care if they in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if you do not know how to do basic math arithmetics, basic operational mathematics, you're done. You're done. Yeah, Shinobi bro, I think we'll be doing, that's a good idea. We'll probably be doing some of that next year as well. Just like some non-Black Ronin streams. Just talking about that. Let's see. Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely right. SKC. Well, I don't know that type of math, but I do know the MATH type. I've actually went to school and got a bachelor's degree in that type of MATH, but not the MAFF. That's a foreign language to me. But yeah, it has to be said. It just has to be said. A lot of guys, and this doesn't go out to just black men. This goes out to a lot of men in Western society. But the group that's going to be impacted the most, that you're going to see a cutoff in their genetics, is mostly going to be black men. A lot of them just ain't going to make it. And especially when a lot of them would rather live their life through YouTube or other social media platform compared to actually going out in society and making a name for yourself and actually do the type of work that needs to be done to move about in other cultures and other societies. I say, you know what? More power to you, but leave the whole relationships, leave the whole family dynamics. You're just in for a world of hurt. To me, it just has to be said. And when you have dudes on YouTube that would simply, yeah, Lawrence, exactly. Yeah. So, well, that's the thing. So, that's the thing. When when the news came out about David Curl when he passed, I'm just gonna be honest. I wasn't too surprised, just based on the fact that during his last videos, he started to, from the sound of things, he started to show some health issues when he was talking. But the fact that all this time you created this platform talking about the dysfunctions of a group of people, and you're supposed to be college educated, but you didn't have insurance. How is that being a betterment for black men? How is that possibly teaching black men what to do and what not to do? I'm just looking at the comments, and a lot of you guys are just spot on. Just spot on. And this is why, again, just live your life. Turn the phone off. Turn the TV off. Turn the computer off. Go outside and live your life. Just live your life. Whatever goes on YouTube, hey, that's YouTube. But it doesn't mean it applies to you. And that's the sad part. A lot of these guys take everything on YouTube so literally. They would take it so literally. And they forget that, you know what? I actually have a life to live. I actually have things and plans and goals that I got to start executing and getting it together. This is why I'm glad Mad Bus Driver made it clear that his movement, SYSBM, is not part of the Manosphere. I'm glad that moving forward, even though I've already started doing it this year, but going forward, you know, guys, you already know the topics that I talk about is just not something that the average brother is interested in. Just going to be honest. Japan, most brothers not interested in. World War II and battleships and fighter planes and actually going out and visiting these artifacts, most black men are not interested in. The educational aspects from the culture bombs with Dr. Phoenix, most black men are not interested in that. And you know what? That's cool. That's fine. Because at the end of the day, I'm just going to be honest, the content is not meant for all black men. The content is meant for everybody. If a few brothers actually take that information and actually enjoy it and run with it, hey, that's great. That's all good. But it's definitely not meant for all black men. I'm content if only just maybe I'm content with just only maybe just a handful of brothers actually already lived a life. Yeah, Seattle Sideshow. These dudes, don't you find it interesting? And this has to be said too. I'm just gonna go down this path. And again, if you are too sensitive and you you are easily triggered and everything, by all means, stop the stream, unsubscribe, go about your life. But I'm just going to say this. Don't you find it interesting that a lot of brothers, the ones that are able to travel, don't you find it interesting that they prefer to go to societies that most people would consider third world nations? I mean, I see very few brothers talk about going to places like Germany, places like Singapore, places like Japan, Canada, Saudi Arabia. Very few brothers I see actually talk about going to those type of places. But oh, I see a whole lot of dudes want to talk about going to places for the nightlife. Want to go to places that have the fine clubs and the tequilas and stuff. That shows you right then and there. These guys are not serious about wanting a girlfriend or wanting a wife. They just wanna live that good life. And you know what? Hey, if that's you, go right ahead. But you probably want to stop kidding yourself, complaining about why women don't wanna settle down and have a family and everything. Hey, you are what you attract. If all the women you attract all have this propensity to want to go to clubs, have no interest in studying other cultures, have no interest in wanting to better themselves for themselves, not just for you or anybody else, but just for themselves. If, well, Abdullah, most parts of Saudi Arabia is third world, but you have to admit, Dubai is not a third world nation. And Eisen, bro, you just hit it right on the head. Never about the overall experience of the culture, food, and everything else it has offered. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Eisen, thank you for this, cause you hit this right on the head. I can't possibly tell you how many times, like even now, I just came back from Oahu, like I said, 2.5 weeks ago, roughly 3 weeks ago. And other people from other cultures, without a shadow of a doubt, they will ask me about how was the food? What places did you visit? Especially when I talk about Pearl Harbor. Oh, what was that experience like? What was the history behind it and everything? Even black women would ask me those similar questions. But lo and behold, black men, when I talk about my trips, you want to know what is the very first thing they ask me? Let's see if anybody in the chat. See if anybody in the chat gets it. Shinobi bro, good to see you, bro. Hope you and the family do well. Catch you later. Let's see if anybody in chats gets it. What is the common question black men ask when any brother travels? There you go, Coolin. There you go. Without fail, every single time, without fail, that is the number one question almost every black man asks me. And if it's not that, it's also this one. Shout out to Eisen. Without fail, every single time. Every other group of people ask me about the culture, ask me about the food, ask me as far as like the accommodation, was it expensive, was it cheap and everything. They'll ask me all those other stuff. But black men without fail always have to center around women. And that just let me know right then and there. These guys are not serious about traveling for culture. These guys are not serious about traveling for business aspects or opportunities to make business in other countries and everything. All these dudes care about is what's the next poon they're going to get overseas. This is why I said these guys in the fear just need to stop talking about families. They're not about that life. And they never will be. They never will be. To me, you are kidding yourself if you think that a lot of these brothers really are serious about having families and everything. I get it. There's some circumstances, especially in the Western world, that's not conducive to having a family. But there's so much information out there in regards to how to go about things the right way, how to avoid the pitfalls and all. But yet, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, these guys talk about the same subjects every time with nothing to show as improvement. Nothing to show that they've actually bettered their circumstances. They've actually dealing with people from other cultures. They're actually dealing with a woman who wants the same thing they want. Yeah, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. All right, I pretty much went over an hour. Rael, good to see you, sir. He's another brother I know of that actually is about life outside of YouTube. Brother got so much going on, life coaching and everything, but I've never seen him make subject about uh, why women do this, why women do that, uh, why women act this way towards me, but act another way towards another guy or another group of men. It eventually comes a point to where, look, everybody knows, and for the most part, the type of women you chasing after, they just don't care. What are you going to do about it? These women have told you in streams after streams, they just don't care. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue to make videos complaining? Are you going to continue to make streams wanting to debate these females? Wanting to debate these knuckleheads? Or actually, are you going to turn off the computer, turn off that phone, go outside, and actually live life to what you want to be, what you want to do? Exactly, Coolin. These type of individuals tell you every day they don't want you. They don't want to be around you. So why in the heck would you continue year after year trying to convince these individuals differently? Babe, that's pretty much all I want to get off my chest. I know I was in need of doing this particular rant because the information I got from JJ and SKC, I was like, this has to be said. This has to be said. Excuse me. A lot of these guys, both old and young, if they haven't figured it out before they reach 20, they will never figure it out. They never will. Yes, I guess you say back in my early 20s, I had somewhat of a red pill rage. But once I got into my first serious relationship with my first Japanese woman, all that red pill rage just went out the window. Because again, I had that background from a stable family. And again, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm just saying because I already come from that background of what a stable family looks like, I knew what to look for and I knew how to go about things looking for a partner. Looking for somebody that wants the same thing I want. But a lot of these guys, they never had it and they never will. Thanks, JJ. I mean, like I said, it's not picture perfect, but when you have two parents that have been married to each other going on 37 years, almost 40, I think it shows monogamy works. You just got to deal with people who want the same thing you want. This is not rocket science. This is not some complex nuclear question that is hard to solve. It's just simply dealing with people who want the same thing you want. Yeah, Doc said it best right here. My philosophy is sink or swim. You either know what to do or you don't. All I could do is just point you in the right direction, but at that point, you either know what you're doing or you don't. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to mentor you. I'm not here to uh, uh, make pals with you to try to guide you in certain directions. You either know what to do or you don't. And for a lot of black men, they don't know what they're doing. They really don't. Both young and especially the old, they have no clue what they're doing. So, exactly, Lawrence. Survival of the fittest. That's my philosophy. And if you actually think about it, that's a good way to weed out those who are not fit for that life. Who are not fit for the family life and everything. Again, if you know within yourself, you have complete mastery of yourself that you are not made for the family life, and you actually make the actions and requirements that keeps you stable to not go about the pit traps and everything, I have a lot of respect for you. I really do. Because you're an individual that actually lived that life. You don't come on YouTube talk about, yeah, man, I'm MGTOW. I don't do this, do that, and everything. No. We judge by your actions. We don't judge by your words. And if you're constantly having topics about women to the point to where that's all you talk about, that's all you can think about, you go to sleep at night thinking about these issues and problems, brother, you probably need to go see a psychiatrist. You probably need to go see a professional that can help you to figure out why is it that you're not able to function in society. Why your people skills are just that bad. Exactly, Doc. Yeah, so I'm the same way. And Lawrence, shalom to you as well. Hope you have a good Shabbat. But yeah, this has to be said. And so if some guys get caught up in their feelings about this stream, oh well. It is what it is. Because I have a life outside of YouTube. And I know brothers like Soul, Lawrence, Rael, Eisen, Shinobi Bro, SKC, Logic Finest, Dr. Phoenix. These guys have lives outside of YouTube. These guys actually live the dreams they made for themselves. But unfortunately, these men, myself included, only make up maybe at best 20-25% of black men in America and probably in Western society overall that actually knows what we're doing and actually knows how to make our own realities, create our own realities. Again, we can point you in the right direction, but after that, you better figure it out for yourself. And if you can't figure it out, oh well, you're just not meant to be successful. So, with that said, thank you all for listening in. On Sunday, me and Dr. Phoenix will be having our final Culture Bomb for 2021. And then Monday, I will also be doing the last stream where I'll be giving shout outs to the individuals that I want to thank them for helping me out behind the scenes and on the streams and everything. And also give plans of what's going on for 2022. But at the end of the day, you have to live your life. And I'll say it again. Turn off the phone. Turn off the computer. Turn off the TV. Get outside your house or your mama's house, whichever, and live your life. Create the reality you want. Trying to live your life precariously through YouTube or from somebody on a platform never works, and you're just pretty much setting yourself for failure. So, with that said, hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. Till next time.